Welcome, you've reached Hacked Gaming. My name is Jeremy, and this is a continuation of our Let's Play of Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Continuation of the stream that we have been doing. Last episode, we kind of finished up what we were going to do in Market Square for the time being. Leveled up everyone besides Woljif, and we are going to level him up here and then kind of get going on our way to Pitaxian Wine. So, the debate that I was having about Woljif, I guess for sure I don't want to keep him as an Eldritch Scoundrel. There's nothing appealing about this class for me. It has a very poor gain both on magic spells and on sneak attacks. It seems like a class, obviously they're trying to mix, and for someone who has that very specific niche that they want to fill, or from a role-playing aspect, it's probably great. But the mechanics of this class are just very poor. The two that I really would like to switch Woljif into would either be the Brown Fur Transmuter in Arcanist or the Vivisection in Alchemist. The difference there really being that I wouldn't expect the Transmuter to be able to contribute a lot combat individually per se, but they would contribute a lot more to buffs that would assist with everyone else being able to contribute more in combat. Whereas the Alchemist would be more likely to retain some combat viability just based on the fact that they have a very good sneak attack progression and slightly less able to provide buffs to the remainder of the party through taking infuse either at 2 or 4 here. In this playthrough, I am going to go ahead and choose the Vivisectionist, so technically we'll be 3 levels in Scoundrel, and I'll probably take the rest into the Vivisectionist. What do we have at 17 here? 17, we get our 9th sneak attack. I don't think we can actually get 9 extra, because I believe that you can only have half of your level, so even at 20 you would only be allowed to have a maximum of 10. I guess I'm not sure if the mythic ability that gives you 2 sneak attack dice per sneak attack allows you to have more, but essentially we would just be down 1. We would supposed to have 11, but I don't think that the game allows us to do that. I guess we'll see. Unpick it. So the other option there, obviously, I guess, stopping at 16 and taking 1 level in something else. But this level, for sure, we're going to be taking it. And I like to just even out ones that are going to even out, so we'll take 1 point in confusion here, and the remainder of our 4 points will go into dexterity. If we were to go Arcanist, the remainder of the 4 points would have gone in. We're just going to take the skills that he already has points into, as far as, let's go. I think eventually we're going to have everything we could possibly want from here, and most of these spells we actually don't even care. Alright, so we will be resting once we get to the winery, so I am going to just search through here and make sure that we have... I'll just throw 2 shields. Everybody gaining the spells that we want them to gain. Well, everybody that's going to be casting spells. And scrap. That was his only spell he gained. Want the dexterity one? I think that's the blue one. Put his cat out. And time to get going. I am going to drop a couple things here because I think this is going to leave us too overweight. I mean, eventually, I believe by the time we get back to the library, we're going to be overweight either way. Drop that. We'll go with this. But we don't really want to be heavy in weight prior to even arriving at the winery. And here's an Enio. So, yeah, I think we will, there are several perception checks right over here.
I sense something.
Not all easy.
Might be trap.
We got
Might be
it.
treasure.
It might be a trap.
We'll just save it real quick. We're
A
gonna.
bright future awaits us.
Do these guys actually? No, it's only been yesterday, but okay. So I'm gonna give you the long blade we just picked up, which is the longsword of detriment. It just does an additional 1 damage on hit, so it's not super special, but it is a +1. Gives us it actually gives us an extra 2 damage there.
Wearing a robe? Check. Baphomet symbol around the neck? Check. Crazy eyes? Check. Note to self. Bring a mirror next time to be able to adjust the optimal level of eye craziness. Everything is ready for the experiment. An audience. Problematic, but not critical. You there, boy. Stay out of this. It is counterproductive to stand in the way of scientific progress.
Who are you calling boy?
Who's that? I don't know her.
Greetings, boys and girls. I am your sister in sin, a devotee of Lord Baphomet's dark will, and so on and so forth.
She looks like one of us, but she talks kinda weird. Who's there with you?
Who? Oh, them! Just an audience, they don't matter. Consider them a supplementary component of the coming experiment.
Oh, I was just passing by.
In the name of our Lord Baphomet, please be so kind as to undertake a little test of your competency in our wicked cause. Let's start with something simple. So here's my first question. What is Lord Baphomet's favorite weapon?
We will not answer to you.
Our lord can wield any kind of weapon. He is all-powerful.
Wrong. He wields no weapons at all. He doesn't need any. He just gores his enemies with his horns.
So we are gonna take the religion check passed. Actually, it's Isergall, a glaive made of red adamantine.
That is correct. But still, boy, no prompting, please. This experiment has taken quite a surprising turn. I would never have expected the followers of the great Baphomet to be baffled by such a simple question. Fine. Let's recalibrate the difficulty and proceed with the next question. Please name Lord Baphomet's sacred animal.
A bull! Of course, everybody knows that.
Yep, and a cow.
We have passed our check again. It's an aurochs, as a matter of fact.
I'd like to ask you to stop prompting them, but it seems they could do with a prompt or two. It appears the experiment has yielded results which are as unexpected as they are incredible. Baphomet's cultists have not the slightest idea about who Baphomet really is, let alone any in-depth knowledge of his ideology or philosophy. I'm positive that this news will cause a sensation in widest scientific circles.
Damn it, she's right. I'm a shitty excuse for a cultist. And my mother used to tell me to become a plowman.
Hey, take it easy. We've only had 2 questions. You there, come on, ask another one. We'll get the next one.
Ask them some more. They might still manage it.
Is there any sense in continuing? You cannot answer the simplest of questions. I am ashamed of all of you, as cultists and as individuals.
Please, ask again. I can answer. I'm sure I can.
How do you spell Baphomet's name?
B-A-F-A... Oh, screw it. To hell with Baphomet. I thought it was gonna be fun, but instead there are all these questions. I'm done here. I'm going back to my home village, back to my mother.
Hey, wait! You there! How dare you stir up discord in our ranks? Grab her and tie her up, and her entire entourage too!
The experiment is complete. Unable to deal with the questions, the cultists decide to deal with the examiner instead. A typical reaction for a person who has never been burdened with any intelligence. Now you're gonna start hitting each other, aren't you? Please, proceed. I won't interrupt.
Save the last one for me.
So this is another encounter, obviously, where we are not allowed to position ourselves before combat starts. And actually, this archer can pretty easily kill her characters on her first turn. So it is one that if you're playing on a higher difficulty, you probably want to start not in turn-based and switch to turn-based after you kind of reposition people.
The Inheritor, guide my blade!
So now we already have a couple people who are within range of Sela, so she's probably going to get taken out pretty quick here. But let's actually let's cast this real quick. Give her a slightly better chance, and we're gonna move over here. We'll probably move up to try to catch these guys in Burning Hands. It looks like they're all targeting Sela right away off the bat here. So, I mean, maybe that's something to take note of, and if we lose a person, we'll go ahead and hit her in more defensive gear, at least for right away in the beginning. We should actually be okay now. Now that that worked, Ember is out of spells though. So we're gonna cast this on Sela. Got protective luck now. On Woljif.
Cover me, all right?
Oops. And we'll have the elk head and move up here to make sure that this guy is not going to come down as well. And Windu is going to go get in these guys' faces, just in case she can stop them from hitting Sela.
Into the fray!
Let's try this actually. We'll go ahead and turn acrobatics on and we'll have Sela move
This
back
will
out.
leave a bruise.
She got smacked once pretty good. The rest of those guys should try to get Windu now, though. Apparently wasn't a great idea. They were actually able to hit her. Alright, we're gonna Burning Hands these two guys. And hopefully not hit the person on the ground up there.
T. Go.
And let's try to slumber. Oops. Try to slumber this guy up here. Looking good on that route. We're gonna have Sela start running up here to take care of these guys that are on the ground. Windu, give you this. We hit level 4, right? We should have Chant. So we're just going to cast Chant right away. So that should put this one at 12. Yeah. Well, Jeff, go ahead and move around this direction.
Stab you or zap you? Why not both?
Elk, you just fight with this guy. And when you try to take care of this guy. I think we'll just try to Ray of Frost him this time. And we'll see about this guy not being awake anymore. Oh, he's up and at him. Oh, Camellia will now help Elkla also out a little bit here. Oh, why did I move? That was dumb of me.
Distract them for me.
Not the end of the world, though. And we should be in range next turn to kill this other guy. So we just have the, I don't know, he's a little bit different as far as his visual goes, so I think of him as the main cultist left to deal with here.
Surrender, or else!
Okay, Sela is down, Windu is down. He still has his. So we're gonna put this one, Windu, and then Chanting should allow both of them. So now she's finally in a position where next turn we should probably double chant to make sure everybody has some extra time on their
Time to
their
share
buff.
your treasures.
But after that, she's in a position where if she's next to someone, she can actually start attacking. But obviously we're several turns into the fight here. 4, I guess. Took a little bit longer because everyone started out attacking Sela. But not significantly longer, I would say. Could maybe have been one turn faster on getting that out to everybody. Or one round, I guess.
The result is statistically predictable, especially considering their intelligence level. What about you, boy? Are you ready to answer some questions for the good of science? Let's proceed with the experiment. My first question is simple. Which colors does the goddess Iomade prefer?
We have succeeded, and we are convinced that the correct answer is red and white. We'll go with
This
that.
answer is correct. It is comforting to meet at least one educated person in the melting pot of ignorance that is Canabras today. Let's proceed. Did Aradin take part in any crusade before he died?
We succeeded, and we know for sure Aradin died not long before the World Wound opened and the First Crusade began.
Your answer is correct. Aradin's death dates to 4606, and that is precisely the year when the World Wound was opened. The First Crusade started back in 4622. Your knowledge would make Mendev's Crusaders proud. My final question is, what is the title that Arilu Vorlesh bears? Is she the architect of the World Wound, the Lord of the Labyrinth, or the Border Acquisitor of the Shapeless Abyss?
We've failed this one, but we do know the answer. She is the architect of the World Wound. Even if you didn't, out of game, know that information, we've seen several books that have referred to her as such.
That's correct. Most excellent. You successfully answered all of my questions. Splendid. Amazing. This is a breakthrough. I thank you for your cooperation. It seems to me that I owe you an explanation. My name is Nenio. I am an explorer, a pilgrim, a yet-to-be-recognized scientific luminary, future author of the great Encyclopedia Galarianica, and rector of all Absalom's universities at once. Future rector, I should say. I also know several spells.
Now you can finally tell me what you were getting at with all those questions.
It is so heartening to see you strive for knowledge. I have been conducting an experiment comparing the intellectual abilities of the average cultist with those of the average crusader. And I must admit that you passed the test with flying colors. This does offer a glimmer of hope for the future of Crusade. I have always claimed that despite the popular beliefs about the limited intellectual abilities of those in the army, at least some of them can be considered educated. It pleases me to see that I was correct.
So you're trying to say that I'm mediocre?
Yes.
Why do you keep calling me boy? I have a name, you know.
I apologize for an injury to your ego, but your name is irrelevant on the grand scale of the universe. Thus, it cannot possibly interest me. I will forget it as soon as I hear it. To avoid unnecessary confusion, I'd prefer to not know it at all.
Canabras isn't safe right now. Should we join forces?
Do you wish to become my follower? To accompany me on my expeditions to the World Wound? To assist me in my experiments? To run errands for me? Perhaps even to write down my deepest thoughts for the benefit of future generations? Oh, how splendid! Of course, I agree. Truth be told, I have no money to pay you. But you will be aiding the progress of science, and that is its own reward.
If we join forces, you'll have to follow my instructions during our expeditions.
Huh? What? Oh, yes, the dangers and these battles. Of course, I will follow your orders. I place my life in your capable hands, so I can focus on the things that really matter.
All right, I agree.
Excellent. You're hired. To think that I finally found someone to accompany me. 27 Crusaders before you said no. Not one of them saw the undeniable appeal of my offer. Your first assignment is to take me to a safe place. I have to admit that today's experiment has left me quite tired.
And we're gonna let Nenio go back to the Defender's Heart here. I always want to say the Great Garrison for some reason. Defender's Heart here, and we'll keep the people that we have with us. At least until we're able to finish Woljif's quest up, and we'll probably bring Nenio instead of Woljif at that point. Miss anything? Nope, we're good to go. Oh, except for some reason it doesn't select your pet automatically after that conversation. Continue on our way. We're gonna drop by here because it's unlikely we're gonna be back in this area. Well, without going out of our way, I guess.
You'll make a fine trophy.
Get Windu right up in there right away. Looks like we just have these two. We're not afraid of them. we're gonna lay hands on ourselves here. And also charge this guy.
Too late for apologies.
Looks like he's gonna run off. So we're just gonna try to
I'll cut you wide open.
get people in range to hit him when he runs.
Cover me, all right?
Let's hit him with him. So, we're gonna go to sleep pretty soon anyways. We may as well use up our spells. Oh, that's kind of a pain. Hopefully she can charge him. And these guys don't have pockets, so they don't have loot. Should
We'll make
probably
things right.
My tail is restless.
get Sela a little bit extra healing here.
Rely on me.
Matritium Turinos.
Roll Sela.
Matritium Turinos.
Alright, found regents. Someone was telling me that the regents are actually based on this check here, which, I don't know, I don't think it really matters, I guess. It's not important, and they're not really expensive enough to avoid getting them until later when we have more skill points. The time is worth more than the regents, I guess. Way to say that. So we made it to the cellar here. We're going to take a rest. Not going to rest for that long. Cooking recipes we do. This is going to be a 50-50 chance, but we may as well do it because we don't really need... Not really that concerned with her needing to roll 3, I guess. So we'll attempt it. If we fail, it's not really a big deal.
Auntie Magpie baked a bad pie. Dropped it flat, made the sky cry. Dropped the second, made the rivers dry. Dropped the third, now we all die.
And we succeeded at everything. Sometimes, a long-awaited rest does not bring the desired relief. What comes is a heavy, clinging sleep on the edge of wakefulness, where consciousness seems poised between reality and oblivion. The possible reasons for such disturbed slumber are myriad. Strained nerves, perhaps, or a lingering reaction to trauma. Mr. Lickman emerges from the oblivion of his leaden sleep like a drowned man dragging himself up from the depths of a swamp. The wound on his chest is burning like someone pressed an invisible brand to it. The wound has closed again, but the blood stain on his shirt betrays its presence beneath. There's no time to investigate the cause behind his malaise. A trying day lies ahead, but how will Mr. Lickman be up for the challenge? His thoughts are so muddled that his entire body aches after a day's toil. Nonsense. I'll douse myself in some cold water and I'll be as good as new. As if a veteran adventurer could be frightened by a bad dream. A splash of cold water enlivens his senses and then the weariness abates, retreating to the depths of his subconscious, but leaving the path open to return next time Mr. Lickman seeks refuge and sleep. Mr. Lickman recalls that he slept peacefully in the defender's heart. Perhaps a priest can explain what has happened. And in we go. So we are going to have the elk as our front line still. Oops. I did it say on him. So 24 and 28. Wendu obviously, well, he'll also be 28 after we throw a mage armor. But Wendu hasn't been fighting different. So they're about the same as far as, because we didn't get any of our dexterity damage back. Did get one. Oh, maybe we didn't. I think we had 2 when we went to sleep anyways. So, I'll use his since his are specific. Can't be used for anything else.
Yes?
She doesn't have anything to cast.
Oh, me?
Never stop learning.
You can trust me.
Yeah.
Inimosi tradisi.
Get some bark skin on both of them. And then we're gonna throw strength, both of them as well.
Inimosi tradisi. Inimosi tradisi.
Oh yeah, that's the future that I drink. And bless.
I know mystic theology,
Don't mind me.
arcane bombomancy, eldritch sciomancy, and many other clever words.
That's kind of funny. I never heard that one before. Although this isn't a voice that I picked in normal circumstances. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna
Ask
get
nicely.
a
Watch and learn. Fine.
surprise round, guys. Oh, I'm
I hate the voice
almost
of the
forgot. I
spirits.
want to make Sela.
Inimosi tradisi. Inimosi tradisi.
No reason to pause.
Inimosi tradisi.
I think. Well, I only have 2, so I want one to hit right here probably, but that's going to be the second one. I guess I should have tried to cast that one first. I don't know if maybe you can cast both of them. Combat won't start when it's the one that doesn't touch them. But I feel like it probably should. Like they should be on notice that someone's casting spells near them. So our elk is going to go about right here. And we are going to cast, or not cast, we're just going to put Protective Luck on him. We could have moved all the guys up here so we could technically shoot through the shelving units here. I'm not that concerned about them right now, though. Wendu, you're gonna go about right here. We're just gonna make sure that they're gonna target either of these two and not come through. And then Sela, you're actually gonna come right up here, just in case they fall down as they start coming through, because we can technically swing through. Get that other grease on. Put her about right here. Yeah, so we can smack this guy with Sela from where we're at. Let's see. We do have level 2 spells. Why don't I have those on them? I'm gonna hit this guy hard. Oh, that's really bad. That's what we were trying to avoid, but Apparently he just didn't care. I am pretty sure he's going to hit Woljif regardless of what we do here. Let's throw a snowball at him.
Matritium Turi.
They'll beg me to stop.
And he actually pulls us out of range of where we want to be for these other guys. See if we can get away, or if he's just gonna. He can get away, apparently. Got really lucky that he missed us there. There, we got an attack of opportunity. This guy's gonna come around and also go somewhere we don't want him. It's going to end up all right, but obviously we would have been in a much better position if we could have had them standing here while we were fighting them instead of over here in the middle of our group. Right. Windu does not have one on her. Elks is gone. I think we put Elks up first. Can I cast this without getting a ton of our guys in it? Woljif. Let's play until Woljif's turn. Got a girl, Windu. Kind of get her in here. Try to make this fight engage with her.
The light, take you!
If I need you to move here, let Ember
Distract them from me.
and take her Burning Hands attack. Should be good here. We shouldn't hit the elk. He also didn't do a whole lot of damage, though. Alright, let's throw another Burning Arc out. We will hit this guy.
I'll need to review this spell later.
Alright, with Camellia, so now we'll have the chance to get it up on both people. And we'll move towards ghouls here. Not ghouls, lights.
I'll rip you apart!
The Inheritor, guide my blade!
Time to share your treasures.
Not really gonna have Camellia in that. It doesn't look like she is. Let's just see if we're gonna hit Camellia. Oh, we didn't.
My
All right,
tail
we'll
is
just
restless.
Get rid of this grease you threw out over here. And we've got this this area in the books. We're just gonna grab treasure we can.
My tail is twitching. Must be a sign.
Keep your calm.
See, I got a little stuck there, didn't know what was going on. Now we're going to hit up this lost bag. Fail that one too, I'm assuming we did. Yep. Oh, we would have needed a 19. Nenio is probably the right person to bring with for those because she's got high skills and all the things it looks like we're rolling on them.
I found, something.
Caleb. Ah, Crusaders, excellent. I'm Captain Caleb Sazamal, and these are my men. I'm about to burn these vile backstabbers and heretics here. These pathetic imitators of the traitor Arilu who tricked their way into the ranks of the Crusaders. A strange feeling rises up within you. It's pure instinct. You don't know what you're about to do, but you are certain that it is right. We'll go with the lore religion check here first. We've succeeded, and we notice the emblems on the armor of the two people being silent belong to the Order of the Flaming Lance, but Caleb's armor bears the sigil of the Order of the Sunrise Sword. Not from the same unit. So we will now take a perception check here. Caleb is talking too loudly, all while casting sidelong looks at us. That's... We've seen similar behavior before in liars. So, in this case, we are going to go ahead and do the trickster option and just get them to run over to the other library here. Didn't you know, mortal? We're everywhere. Sorry, couldn't have known. We'll fix it right away, sir. And we're just going to say, stop wasting valuable fuel. If you like burning books, go rig the Grey Garrison Library. And they're off. We'll get these guys off.
There's something unusual.
Off the bunch of books here. It is an elf with a beard. I guess the worst can be found even among the best. Hello, I am Storyteller, and I wish to thank my rescuers. That is you, if I'm not mistaken. Storyteller, ha! That's the first time I've heard of a venerable old-timer like that having a street name. Sometimes a person can lose their name, but Mama and Papa are gone, friends are gone, and there's nobody to ask what it was. So instead of a name, a person can pick any word that's good. Everybody has to have a name. Or do they? I don't know. I'm going to say I have other things to do, I'll help you later. In that case, I will remain here for now. Wandering the city while it's under attack by demons would be inadvisable for a blind person. Don't forget to take me with you when you're going to a safe place. So we're going to talk to the Crusaders here, and then we're going to go check out the rest of the library, and then we'll come back and talk to the Storyteller. Allow me to introduce myself. Brother Claim, at your service. Thank you for helping us. We thought we were doomed to perish. There's death everywhere here. Sometimes I think we're all doomed, but then death has passed us by and we are still alive. Who are you? We are Crusaders of the Order of the Flaming Lance. Our order dedicates itself to the pursuit of hidden knowledge and magical methods of fighting the demons. We are searching for our leader, Sister Myanmar, the Scholar. She spent the last few weeks here working day and night on some important research. When the demons attacked the city, we rushed here to find her, but it seems she left the city shortly before the attack began. Yet another order that couldn't even protect its own. The more I see of Crusaders, the more I'm disappointed. Myanmar just left the city, leaving no word of where she could be found? None. She left in a hurry without leaving any notes or orders. Why? I have no idea. The only thing that may serve as a clue is this book, the one she was studying. And we received my company of worn-out words. Mimar's note mentioned something about a stone book belonging to the Druids of Old Sarkoris. What does that mean? Stone books? The Druids of Old Sarkoris used sacred trees as books. They carved their secret knowledge on the bark. The demons came, the druids resorted to a dark ritual that turned the trees to stone, and the druids themselves into undead, doomed to guard their stone library grove forever. But that happened far from here, in the Stone Wilds. Is it possible that's where Myanmar went? Or maybe she found one of those trees somewhere nearby. I don't know. How did you end up in this trap? That traitor met us at the door. He seemed faithful and passionate crusader, and we didn't suspect a thing until they attacked us from behind and knocked us out. We didn't expect such trickery. Most of our order brethren are dead, and we were desperate to believe that this man in armor was a fellow crusader, a comrade. While we were unconscious, they removed our armor and tossed us on the pyre of books. What macabre blasphemy. Ain't it always the way? You start to think you might be able to trust a fellow, and boom! He goes and stabs you in the back. But if you never trust anyone, then soon you'll become a killer, just like Hulrun. That's hardly better, is it? Don't start on that now. Fine, you convinced me, you can trust people. But only one in every dozen, I'd say, and not for long, even then. Who is this elf with you? Is he a crusader? No, he calls himself the Storyteller, and only recently arrived in Canabras. We often saw him in the library. He was interested in the writings about early Sarkoris, and the era before that. It seems the traitor caught him in the library and decided to kill him along with the rest of us. Have you noticed that the Storyteller is a little odd? Even for Canabras, where you can meet the strangest people from the farthest corners of the globe among crusaders. Have you seen such a decrepit elf before? Not just old, but ancient. A gray beard like that? Elves don't tend to grow beards, I thought. They don't have wrinkles. Or maybe it's because he's actually a half-elf, just like you. Of course, he told us he was an elf, but you know how it goes. Perhaps his elven mother kept a little secret from her elven lord husband, and now her son has no idea he has some human blood in him. Elves must have stories like that too, right? Elf with wrinkles and a beard. Testable absurdity. Why don't you guys head back to the Defender's Heart? Those who are ready to fight are gathering there. City still fights? That's incredible news. We will go to our sanctuary guarded by our Order brothers and sisters. We will bring them to the Defender's Heart. And the Knights of the Flaming Lance have joined up with us. So now the Common Cause, we can see we've got 3 allies that are going to help us in the assault on the Grey Garrison. That's as many as we can get. So this one's pretty much done. We must have got overloaded because we're definitely moving slower than we would normally. Which, if we hadn't already, we definitely would be by the time grabbing all the junk here.
Oh, well.
I didn't expect that.
That happened.
That one, if you do pass, just shows that it is Zacharias with a Varrock corpse, I think. Since he founded this library originally.
Now what is that?
That bookcase is full of texts describing demons and how to fight them. Funny that Wendu has the most arcana.
Have I pleased you?
Some monstrously large demonic blade fell upon the library, splitting the runes in two and leaving an enormous black scar. It is possible that Daskari himself was the one to destroy this building with his terrifying scythe, Riftcart. I would just assume that all of the damage to the ground here was done by Daskari's scythe. It'd be a safe assumption. The great library of Canabras has been ravaged and wrecked in the most barbaric way. It seems that someone took perverse pleasure in smashing lamps and furniture, tearing pages out of books. Got a couple things left to grab, and then we'll go talk to the Storyteller. received a padded armor of focus. It's definitely caster armor. Gives you a +2 bonus on your concentration checks, but it only gives you 1 armor. So if you don't need that concentration bonus, it's kind of not worth wearing. Mr. Lickman, is it not? I recognize you from the sound of your footsteps. Who are you? I prefer people to call me storyteller. It very accurately describes the sphere of my occupation and interest. In most places I have been, I am known by that name. When I was little, my mother and father used to tell me stories. I have no one to tell me stories now. Sometimes Grandma does in my dreams, but I always forget them in the morning. Can you tell me a story? For you, I may have a story to tell. But perhaps it is you who has a story for me. I want to talk to you about something. And thanks for my rescue, I, of course, will render you a service in turn, whatever it may be. However, at this moment, I wish to be somewhere safer than the present surroundings. My recent adventures have fatigued me greatly. I'd be grateful if you could help me to a safe shelter of some kind. Typical. You do someone a good turn, and instead of saying thank you, they just ask for more help. Go easy on the old elf. He's had a rough go of it. Yeah, because we've had it so easy. We can't not help him. If it was up to me, Grandfather Elf, I'd throw you over my shoulder and carry you out of here. This is no place for old folks. Alright, I'm taking you back to the Defender's Heart. Please accept my sincere thanks once again, and if I may, please don't rush. I will struggle to keep up with your young leg. So we don't really have a reason to go back to that section of the map. I have to have a little cutscene here with Sela. Mr. Lickman, come. Let me properly introduce you to Elin, Janna, and Curl, the fearless warriors of the League of the Inspiring Cart. It was me who convinced Dearbeth to use what Janna, Curl, and Elin found for a little party. If you look out the window, you might think the end times have come and the abyss has devoured us all. I thought some simple pleasures, good food, and good company could help keep the gloom at bay. We were going to choose the evil option. I see nothing wrong with making a little profit from this chaos. That is not what I expected to hear. Hey, are we just going to sit here with grim faces? I say we get to know each other a little better. But we have a reason to toast. Alright, well, tell me about your order, Elin. As stories go, it's not very entertaining. I was born far to the south, in Andering. I lost my parents early, led the life of a simple mercenary, but often questioned the path I had chosen. I'm proud of my sword skills, I enjoy training and drills, and I'm not afraid of battle. But risking my life for coin? It takes a special mindset to choose that lot with no regrets. You have to want to risk your blood. I saw too many of my friends die, and I wondered if it was worth it. So in the end, I decided to choose another path. Now if I'm going to lay down my life, at least it'll be for a good cause. That's how I ended up in Mendev, and became a squire for the Houndhearts. It's a small order, by tradition it never has more than 12 members, and a new member is only knighted after one of the elder dies. We patrol the lands along the Wardstone line, and provide aid to travelers and settlers. Unfortunately, death is common among the Houndhearts. I became a full knight 2 years ago, after laying my mentor to rest. But I'm content with my choice. My place is among the Crusaders. Have you been serving in the Eagle Watch for a long, Janna? I signed up 4 days before the demon attack. Am I lucky or what? I'm an apprentice of a famous fencing master from Miven, and I learned a thing or two from him. Believe me. I soon got bored of fighting off bandits and getting involved in petty squabbles of the bickering river kingdoms. I wanted a proper challenge, and you can't find a better place than Mendev. And what do you know, the moment I arrived, the demonic invasion began. My father would say that's no accident. Fate brought me here. What about you, Curl? How'd you end up among the condemned? I just did what everyone else was doing. I grew up in the slums where everyone stole a little, maybe smuggled or guarded stashes, so... But I never killed anybody, and I never did anything really bad. I got caught stealing, and when they made me choose between prison and the condemned, well, of course I didn't want to go to prison. I'm not that good a fighter, but as Norgorber is my witness, a thief can also be useful in a war against demons. I've always been a good scout. I can sneak under the nose of any monster. But I don't know where my friends are now. We got separated when the demons rampaged through the city. Chin up, friend. Whoever you were in the past, you're our friend now. And a crusader. Your skills will be useful to us. You'll see. How do you all know Sela? I met my noble sister on the road to Canavras. I was returning from the south from my fiancé, and was happy to be in the company of a paladin of Iomade. We said our farewells at the city gates, and I went north, along the road to Dresden, to my order's camp. The demons attacked us there at the same time they struck Canavras, but we managed to fight them off. We hurried to the city's aid and joined forces with the Eagle Watch. All my fellow Houndarts were wounded during the battle on the streets. I'm the last knight of my order who can still fight. It's so good to see Sela again. Every loyal heart counts these days. I met Sela at a tavern in Canabras, before the attack, of course. She was one of the few who would sit at a table with the condemned. Knights usually don't even look at us, but Sela's different. I knew it the moment I saw her. That's what made me notice Sela too, so I sat down to talk to her. I never understood why everyone treated the condemned so horribly, and I still don't. Mark Curl is a great lad. So after that night, Sela and I went round to the taverns together every day. Mendev is an amazing place. People from all over the world come here. For glory, redemption, or to help those in trouble. And they always find each other. This might be the best place in the world to find like-minded people and friends. That was a toast, in case you didn't notice. Sela, did you call me over just because, or is something the matter? I didn't just want to talk about today's celebration. See, Elin is in trouble. I want to help him. And I don't know anyone else in the city I can turn to. His fellow knights were all wounded in battle. Bad idea, sister. I told you, I don't want to bother anyone else with my problems. I need to handle them on my own. Oh, come on. Hiding your sadness from your friends is no way to live. Girl is right. Mr. Lickman helped me find you. Without his help, I'd still be looking for you all over Canavras. So, Elin, come on, stop being stubborn. Alright, well, tell me more. In all truth, I do not wish to impose. My problems are just minor troubles. Paladin of Iomade and her friends certainly have more important things to do, especially now that Canavras has been overrun with demons. If I've learned anything in life, it's that there's nothing minor about good and evil. Take the three of you, for example. It seems like all you did was save one cart from some lesser demons, but look how many people are happy now. That feat will never be sung of in songs, but who knows, maybe thanks to this one joyous hour of peace and rest, the defenders of Canavras will find the strength to protect the city. I talk too much, don't I? Well, Sir Elin, I want to help you. My reputation as a holy warrior of Iomade won't suffer if it's more of a minor adventure than a glorious feat. Alright, I'll explain. The life of a crusader has given me more than just a purpose and a chance to serve a righteous cause. When I abandoned the life of a mercenary and came to Mendev, I gained something else I never expected. It's here that I met, may all the ladies here forgive me, the finest girl in all the world. It's a miracle she found any love in her own heart for a bungler like me. But I'm not about to let this miracle go. Not even the Demon Lord Daskari and all his demon army can stand in my way. Luckily, my beloved is now safely away from Canavras. For half a year, I've been getting up my courage to propose to her. I even ordered a ring from Derek Sunhammer, the best jeweler in Mendev. Independent knightly orders live mostly off donations, and I'm not what you'd call rich. But I so want to make Kiana happy. Oh, it took me 3 months to find a jewel the same shade as her eyes, and twice that long to scrape together enough money. Master Derek's work was worth it, but I lost the ring during the demon attack. Probably never find a worthy replacement. The ring is most likely still at the Houndheart's camp outside the city. Elin and his friends didn't have time to pack up their camp. First the demons ambushed them, and then they rushed off to help Canavras. I think we should at least go there and check. Not right now, of course, but once the situation in the city is under control. Well, what could we run into at this camp? My friends and I killed 2 large demons attacking the camp, then rode straight to the city without spending any more time cleaning the rest of the band. There was only a few imps, but they might still be at the camp. Of course, this was a while ago. Our camp was attacked at the same time as the Wardstone in the main square. I haven't been back there since. Fine, I will help. Thanks for agreeing to help. Elin is a good man, and a true knight, and I think the world should repay those who are so devoted to doing good. Let's help him, so he can propose to his beloved the way he wanted. Sela, I hope you can convince Earbeth to let me go with you when you do this. I don't want to be parted from my friends. Of course, if the legally inspiring cart has come together in this dark hour, we must continue onward together. I'm going to take a quick drink. Alright. Let's see who else we have to talk to. We have to run something by Vasily down here. Whenever I sleep outside the walls of Defender's Heart, I'm plagued by terrible dreams. Can you help me? You look tired, but otherwise entirely healthy. If we were anywhere else, I would simply tell you to get some rest. We're on the border of the world wound, and I'm all too aware of what's happening to you. As you know, the wound is a rift between Golarion and the Abyss, and all the evil that feeds the Abyss does the opposite in our world. It feeds on Golarion. So it is that even when we cannot see demons near us, our ultimate foe, the Abyss, is always surrounding us. Many soldiers fighting the world wound experience similar things. They suffer terrible nightmares, get no peace, sometimes even lose their minds. But we are trained to help you with this affliction. By the will of Abadar, I have consecrated an altar here. The God's grace permeates the space around it, soothing one's soul and quieting thoughts during rest. So if you find your nerves are fraying, seek out a holy place like this. Approach it, and all the corruption will be cleansed. I'm just going to do this real quick, it's the same thing. What kind of help can I expect from you? First, I sell scrolls. I have a lot of them. Something for every emergency. Second, while you're here in the tavern, I can read one for you. Granted, no surprises, but you better not go into the city without a cleric. I won't be going there myself. I'm too old and my powers are needed here. Who's that boy with you? This one? Gyaudo, the shepherd, my apprentice. He's a smart boy, and his faith is strong. He serves a rascal, though, but there's still something he can learn from an old servant of Abadar. He'll be a great cleric when he gets a little older. And who are you? Vasily Rathimus, rector of the local temple of Abadar. The temple is gone, though, and if we snooze here for much longer, the city will be lost as well. I can't remember how much money I have. Let's take a look at what he's got. Oh. Probably will have enough for what we're looking for. We'll sell all our stuff to Gemmel up here. Again, I just always sell my stuff to the same person, so I know if I have to buy something back, I know where it's at. And we've got 11,000. So the thing we want from Vasily here is a ring. And it's this ring. Let's put that on Windu. And since we're making Ember into a witch eventually, we'll give her, or a winter witch eventually. We'll give her the flow of water, which is the bonus sudden saving throws against spells with cold and adds DC to spells with cold. Which at some point will be all her spells. Also, I'm going to throw this on her, I guess. It looks like she'd get cold wearing that other raggedy stuff. Better for her. Enio can have our quarterstaff on will. This we found at the library. +1 quarterstaff adds +1 DC for all the will saving throws against spells to the will, which are going to be all of her illusions. Do this for a moment. And we'll go ahead and have Nenio learn all of the spells from scrolls that she can. Or in the inventory anyway. From this, yeah, you kind of have the option because these will be the same thing. You can learn protection from evil or protection from law, and it'll give you all of the protection from options. I'm going to use law because there is, I guess, a lower chance of us needing protection from law than there is from evil. Scroll might be more. Let's see, we can't use scrolls because we're spontaneous. Scrolls, Woljif can. Woljif, okay. We'll have Woljif learn what he can learn. Same thing here, we're going to use the law one. Shout. That's it. We're gonna go use the books real quick. We will get some new abilities from these books before we stow them in the trunk here. All the books that we got abilities from were found in the library. I think I'll probably get rid of this now. The other thing that I was thinking about possibly doing with Woljif was making him into a duelist. So it would be Aldori Defender would have been the level that I would have taken. I mean, that might be an interesting way to level him up. Maybe I'll try that in a different place. Alright, let's get rid of most of what we have. Get rid of these, this. We don't have anyone that's going to use double axe. Don't have anyone that's. So we're going to sell all of that, all of our men. Most of the time, I try to hang on to magic items until the kind of the next act, where you know, like, okay, well, I'll try to go through everybody that I can and give them the items that I can give them, but we should be finding better things than this in short order because we're in the next step. Born, we also have to talk to real quick. I think Kaelessa might be a drow. We succeeded. Shadow passes over Forn's eyes for a single instant. Face is just as passive as it was before. A drow? Unlikely. It's more plausible that her dark service has left a brand similar to the one that twisted the entire cursed drow race. Coincidence, I think. Well, I met Kaelessa. Under what circumstances? I hope you seize the opportunity to kill her. Are you certain of your allegations? I am. Her misdeeds are terrible and proven with absolute certainty. Well, she claims she doesn't serve the demons. Of course she does. In an attempt to buy her life, she would stoop to the boldest and most egregious of lies. Egregious. Whose word do you trust, hers or mine? Well, I let her go. Your decision is regrettable. I'm afraid that in doing so, you've condemned her many future victims to death. I suppose it just means that bringing this hunt to a close falls upon my shoulders. Good fortune to you. Just make sure, what else? Done. We have to talk to Nenio. That the only, yeah, that's the only quest we have to do. Oh, we have to talk to the storyteller. Boy, I am pleased with you. I asked you to bring me to safety, and that's exactly what you did. Indeed, having a follower to aid me is most efficient and frankly pleasing. With you on hand, I shall conquer new horizons, plumb the depths of knowledge hitherto unknown, and scale the dizzying heights of future discoveries. What I mean is, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude. I foresee immense potential in our future cooperation. I'm happy to help. Hand in hand, we will unravel the greatest mysteries inaccessible to the minds of ordinary people. Just imagine it. I, leading the way, proudly staring into the faces of the gods themselves, and you, my loyal follower, walking behind me every step of the way, writing down my deepest thoughts and admiring the profundity of my intellect. If we hold hands, you won't be able to go in front and lead the way. You are the catalyst, which, when it reacts with my intellect, will allow the latter to grasp the very essence of the universe itself. You always express your delight so effusively. What? Who are you? Oh yes, my new follower. So what am I supposed to do? Oh yes, I must provide some verbal encouragement for your as-yet modest achievement, and try to induce you to strive for more of such encouragement. That is the principle that underpins any training. Ah, I see. Your modest nature was unsettled by the overabundance of my gratitude. I do apologize for putting you in such an awkward position. I will never praise you again, unless I forget. But let's get back to business at hand. Your new assignment will be to take me to the inconspicuous ruins that are located in an even more inconspicuous valley lying between Canabras and Dresden, as soon as is reasonably practicable. I'll mark the place on your map with a large red cross so you won't forget it. What's so special about these ruins near Canabras? I'm glad you asked. This is my greatest hypothesis, my secret project, and I won't pass up the opportunity to share it with you. Because you are my most loyal follower, and you are worthy of possessing such knowledge. And also because you are the first person to ever ask me about it. Some time ago, I was walking around the border of the Whirlwind, and I met a strange person. He was wearing a frayed, gray robe, and his face was hidden behind an odd white mask. Of course, I didn't miss the opportunity to ask him about the reasons for his absurd appearance. And do you know what he said to me? He said, "I am the answer, but what is the question?" Then he walked off in the direction of the Whirlwind. Next day, after I had already forgotten about the first encounter, I had another similar encounter. This time I met an elven woman, judging by the pointy ears sticking out from behind the mask. "I am the answer, but what is the question?" she said before taking off toward the Whirlwind. And then I realized, everything became clear to me. I know a mystery when I see one. Consider this one of my myriad talents. After all, these geysers weren't simply on their way to a costume party, were they? After examining several maps, I determined that they were all heading in one direction, to a place not far from Canabras, a place which is marked as Nameless Ruins, even on ancient Sarkorian maps. That's where I need to go. Unraveling the secret of that place will be my greatest discovery. It will secure my place in history, or perhaps even legend. How do you know where we have to go? You know how to find a beehive in a forest? You need to catch 2 bees, set them free in 2 different locations of the forest, and remember the directions they fly in. Then you take a map and draw lines showing the bees' routes. The place where the lines intersect will mark the location of the beehive. Fascinating, yes? By the way, forest bees do not make any honey. I use the beehive principle here too. For a couple of months I tracked the strange people in the masks and observed the direction in which they were traveling. I collected the coordinates, mapped their estimated routes, and made a discovery. All the routes intersected at the Nameless Ruins, not far from Canabras. What do you expect we'll find there? I haven't the slightest idea. If I knew it was hidden there, I wouldn't be so eager to go. These ruins aren't very far from Canabras. You could easily get there all by yourself. Why do you need me? Don't you see? This is a legendary secret place. Who knows what may happen to me after I lift the veil and uncover the workings of the universe. My mortal body may be unable to contain all that knowledge. Or perhaps I will ascend and become equal to the gods themselves. I need you to write down everything that happens and report my fate to the interested parties in Absalom. And don't forget to praise me, as I deserve while you're there. You know, these ruins of yours may turn out to be just that, ruins. In that case, we'll write off the experiment as a failure and start another one. I don't know which experiment I'll try next. That's all I wanted to know. Well, now you know, so off we go. Did I just make a rhyme? Perhaps I've discovered poetic talent in myself. Let's conduct an experiment. Quickly, say any word and I'll try to find a rhyme for it right away. Whatever. Not too clever, now or never. Not the best rhymes, don't you think? Well, this experiment was unsuccessful. We learned that I have no poetic talent after all. But it's no reason to despair. Having a gift of poetry in addition to my inexhaustible intelligence would have been a little too much. Besides, I am catastrophically busy and have no time to spend on writing poetry. I don't like when you call me boy. My name is Mr. Lickman. On the grand scale of world history, your name is irrelevant. I have no reason to remember it. You see, the brain of any given individual can contain only a limited amount of facts. I only expend my memory on things that are truly important. The laws of thermodynamics, divine esoteria, Erica, planar geography, things that will lead Golarion to a brighter future. Besides, what if I make a great discovery, but I won't be able to remember it because my memory is full of outdated or useless information? What a nightmare that would be. A little loss for the whole of Golarion. But you do remember your own name, right? Only so I know what to put for the author's name in my encyclopedia. Are there any names worth remembering? There are, and to my deepest regret there are too many of them. The names of gods and demigods, the names of rulers, conquerors, and other persons, by some reason deemed great by the people of Golarion. They etch their names into history, and, alas, every self-respecting educated person must know them. There are some names I'm happy to remember. Great scientists, some of them divine, others mortal, true keepers of knowledge, and great experimentalists, the pioneers of knowledge. Iori, Nethlis, Arilu Vorlesh. I didn't expect you to mention Arilu. You think so too? She's the greatest of the greatest. Just imagine, she managed to open a rift from Galarian to the Abyss. No one knew how. No one believed it possible. No one even dreamed of such a thing. And she just did it. It was the experiment of the century. I would have been so happy if I could have been in her place. Of course, some part of Galarian's population died as a result of her experiment, and the Crusaders are still wrestling with its consequences to this day. But the very essence of what Arilu managed to do was a breakthrough of cosmic significance, both figuratively and literally. Sooner or later, the world wound will be closed. Peace will return to Galarian. As for the victims of the ongoing war, they will be remembered as unfortunate but unavoidable sacrifices made at the altar of science. Were we talking about something? We're going to do this one real quick just to get it out of the way. Tell me about yourself. I'm an explorer, a pilgrim, a yet-to-be-recognized scientific luminary, future author of the Encyclopedia Goloranica, and rector of all of Absalom's universities at once. Future rector, I should say. That information should be enough to satisfy your curiosity, because I doubt I will be able to tell you more. Well, where are you from? That information is relevant. I decided to forget it. How did you become a scientist? That information isn't relevant. I decided to forget it. You have a circle tattooed on your shoulder. What does it mean? Well, that. I do not remember the circumstance of its creation, but I like it. I prefer to think of it as a zero. No, nothing. Center point, an origin of coordinates. It reminds me how much of the unknown world there is to explore. Don't you remember how you got the tattoo? That information is irrelevant. I've decided to forget it. How can you decide to forget information? Or important pieces of information? This is just one of my many talents. The secret is to stop thinking about the thing you want to forget, and the main thing is to not remember anything you don't need. To filter it, to get right to the essence. I'll teach you someday unless I forget. You remember your parents, your past, or is that all irrelevant too? All of it is irrelevant on the grand scale of world history. I have no reason to remember such things. Forgetting your origin, knowing nothing about who you are and where you come from, that's terrible. What? What were we talking about? What is this encyclopedia we're working on? The Encyclopedia Goloranica will be published in 100 volumes, 1,000 pages each, plus the author's addenda, appendices added by future co-authors, and critical commentaries. Addenda indexation is still in question. I just like the number 100. I'm not sure that I'll be able to keep within the established word limit. It'll be a magisterial piece of scholarship that will become part of the mandatory curriculum every educational institution worth mentioning. In it, I intend to describe every object, item, event, fact, and personality that is present on, or at least somehow related to Galarian. My calculations show that I have completed no more than 1% of this monumental book. I'll stop torturing you with questions for now. What were we talking about? I have to go. This conversation lasted approximately 5 minutes. By the way, did you know that is the exact same amount of time Inquisitors of Canabras need to find a defendant guilty? But to shake off Inquisitors chasing you takes 5 times as long. That experiment proved that running while clad in heavy armor is not burdensome for them at all. We didn't talk to Indari.
I will guide.
I guess we're gonna have this conversation quick too. I hope this example clearly illustrates the difference between Jitstka legionaries from the last war and the Crusaders. The perfection of form and spirit they were imbued with during creation turned them into parts of a well-balanced war machine. Not a ragtag bunch of individuals, but a united whole. Now tell me again why I'm supposed to be impressed with your reckless assaults, where everyone is fighting for their ego and for the right to beat their peers to a swift but pointless heroic sacrifice. Some of the people here are grumbling. Whatever. Quietly listen to the discussion. If those gists of yours, or whatever, had come for us, we'd have their guts for garters. You think we've never fought a mighty adversary before? I would love to see you storm a 60-foot-tall walking castle shaped like a gigantic elephant that can siege fortifications on its back. And I'll have you know those fortifications were defended by Jitskan priest craftsmen, armed with demon-bound war machines. They use the enemies you cannot defeat as mindless weapons. should not argue with someone who happens to be the most authoritative researcher on the history of warfare 3,000 years before the foundation of Abs. Lecture is over. Do my esteemed listeners have any questions? You're wrong to treat the Crusaders with such disdain. Allow me to explain. A debate? Oh, I'll be happy to prove that the current conflict can't hold a candle to the last war of Jitska. Very well. The last war of Jitska was waged using significantly greater number of troops. Both sides actively relied on reinforcements from allied planes, and their strategic planning was perfected through no fewer than 7 rounds of intensive design. None of the above applies to this war of yours. Compared to the Jitska, we are but stone club-wielding kobolds. I would like to conclude my thesis with a few words of wise counsel from Valgrind, an advisor to the Pharaoh of Forgotten Plagues. I doubt you will comprehend the true genius of this statement, but here it is nonetheless. A gadfly sees the ox. The ox pays no heed to the gadfly, but crimson fever takes them both. Now let's see what we have a better... Oh, we automatically succeed this diplomacy one, so we'll do that. The events of the past are shrouded in legend. The fate of the world is being decided here and now. That's what you fail to grasp. If you want to, there is a... I think it's a pair of gloves that give you a bonus to natural attack that you can get by just not even trying to argue with her and letting Ink Eye here, the little monk, argue with her. Of course, I am not trying to diminish the importance of the current events. What I am trying to say is far from the standpoint of history, and particularly the history of warfare. The true importance of these developments won't become obvious until later. As a scholar, I cannot deny that there's a certain beneath your skeptical statements. History is a complex discipline rooted in fact and evidentiary base that grows ever more meager the farther the described period is from the present moment. Of course, if I were to argue in bad faith, the way Crusaders embellish their tales of slaying a single Brimarak by adding a dozen Balers, for example, I could win this debate. But I am above such things, and therefore am forced to admit that your skepticism is entirely without merit. I am sure you would be able to expound on your arguments in a long discussion. I'm glad we both understand this limitation. It is always a pleasure to face a worthy opponent, even if the debate takes place in a grimy tavern, perhaps especially because of that. This is a worthy blade. It will be of use not only for the strong, but also the wise. And this is where I bid you farewell. Before the end of the day, I was planning to observe how winged pack tactics predator their prey like herds of livestock. It's about time I got back to my reading. Alright, let's see if... I don't think Erebeth has anything else to tell us. Oh, no, we should tell her this one. I found Jen Eldori like you asked. Yes, thank you. It's good to have her back. We need every fighter we can get. I suppose it's asking too much to want fighters that are sober as well.
Focus on the goal.
I don't think we've had conversations with Windu. Yeah, we're not going to go through her entire conversation right now. Covered this. Did we talk to Anevia? Got Anevia covered. Enio's covered. Sela's. I don't know if we did her whole conversation, but the part we needed to do right there is covered. Born is covered, he's covered. Camellia we'll talk to when we get back from doing their bud. Yeah, we did actually do Sela's. When we get back from Groom's Manor, I think we've finished Staunton's. We'll do Ember's quickly. Hers isn't too long. And we'll do the Storyteller. Tell me about yourself. Well, they call me Ember. I used to live in the River City, and now I walk with you. That's my story. Why did they call you Ember? I've had many names. When I was little, Mom and Dad called me Dove or Cricket or Kitten. Dad called me his Ray of Sunshine. And when my mom was cross, she called me by a long name. Grown-up one. I can't remember it, no matter how hard I try. Then, when I came to live in the River City, the good people called me different funny names. Like Ember or Torch or Smoky. I don't know why. They call me Birdbrain because I have a crow. They call me Lucky 7 because of my fingers. They sometimes called me Grilled Meat and said I was stupid. I didn't feel hurt. I mean, they're right. I really am silly. They didn't mean to hurt me. I like Ember. It's a good word. Embers are like people. On the outside, they're gray and cold like stones, but they're warm inside. You can blow on them and they'll start a fire to help you survive a cold night. And that's wonderful, isn't it? Ember it is. Where are you from? Far away from the flower country. It's so beautiful there. Everywhere there's flowers blooming, golden towers and waterfalls. Everyone is like me, with pointy ears. There's no round-eared people. No short ones, no horned heads. We live there together. Me and Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad argued a lot. Dad used to say all the good people should go on the crusade and fight the demon. And Mom said he was silly because it was so far away, none of our business. And that he shouldn't abandon his child. She meant me. But he didn't abandon me. He took me along. He said I was born the same year that the hole to the demon world opened. He said it was a sign that I would be one of the heroes who close it. Of course, I'm not a hero, but I'm here anyway, helping as much as I can. Where did you get your scars? It happened by accident. My dad and I came sailing down the river to join the crusade. Dad said that all the good people were going to the world room to heal it. He said that the crusaders were the best people in the world, and together we were going to win. But when we arrived at the river city, the crusaders got everything mixed up. Thought my dad and I were bad and decided to burn us at the stake. Dad died, and I cried so loudly that one good night realized it was all a big mistake. He started yelling at the other crusaders, even the one in charge, and then he walked right into the fire and got me out. The others wanted to stop him, but he took out his sword and scared them away. The kind knight took me to a healer. I later learned that while the knight was pulling me from the flames, he himself was burned so badly that he died not long after. I'm still alive. A few fingers missing, and my skin is funny. I've lived in the River City ever since. I never had my own house, but I had many friends. And then the demons came, and I met you. And you know what happened after that. I'm going to choose the lawful option here. And that lynch mob called themselves Crusaders for shame. People always call themselves pretty words, as if calling oneself a paladin or a commander is enough to stop you from being a poor, frightened sinner. But there was one true knight there, and the others came to their senses at last. How did you survive on the streets? There are many good people in the River City. When I sang for them in the street, they'd often give me coins or bread, or sometimes even clothes. I shared everything with the other homeless, and they showed me where it's safe to sleep, where I could get out of the rain and cold, and where I could find discarded things. When the demons destroyed River City, I looked for my friends, but I couldn't find anyone. They probably all died. The homeless have no supplies or weapons or basements to hide in, and the knights won't protect them either. Knights are like gods, so self-important. They're saving the world after all. What do they care about the homeless? Do you worship any deity? Dad taught me to pray to Iomade. He said that she was a kind goddess, and she called people to crusade against evil. The knights who burned my dad and me all worshipped her too. They even lit fire with a prayer to her, and she did nothing to help us. But then one kind knight, alone, without any gods, changed his mind and saved me. I think the gods are the same as us. They don't understand anything, and they're scared of everything. So they hurt themselves, and the rest of us. People worship the gods only because they're afraid of being responsible for themselves. And the gods listen to the praise, and they become smug and arrogant, and begin to believe that they're better than us. But they're no better. They're silly sinners just like the rest of us. Sometimes I pray to the gods, different ones. The good ones, the bad ones. I ask them to stop. Stop fighting and hurting each other. I don't know if they ever hear me, but if they do, I mean, the knight who wanted to burn me, he was able to change his mind and do a good deed. If he can change, maybe Baphomet can too. Where do your magical powers come from? These tricks? I have them from my grandma. She used to be my father's grandma, and before that, his father's. I've never seen her myself, but she's very clever and kind. When I lived on the street, sometimes she left food for me, or a blanket in the winter. Sometimes I feel her stroking my hair as I fall asleep, but if I open my eyes, there's no one near. She also sent me Soot. She tells Soot how to do different tricks, and Soot teaches me. It appears that Ember doesn't know who exactly gives her the powers, but you can guess from her words that her patron is Andaletta, a powerful Archon, one of the Imperial Lords, also known as Grandmother Crow. Thank you for your answers. Oh, not at all. I didn't really tell you anything. You're always so cheerful. How do you manage to remain so hopeful, surrounded by such horror? Hope? No. Hope is a lie. What should we hope for? This world is in the hands of demons. The gods can't help, or they don't want to, or they forgot about us altogether. The people know they're about to be eaten by demons, but still they quarrel with each other. Fight and steal. There's no hope. Only us. We'll have to win without hope. It'll be hard. The entire abyss is against us. We can only win by some miracle, which means we'll have to make one happen. What other choice do we have? We'll work a miracle and win, because we have to. Alright, I have to go. So go. And storyteller here, and then we'll try to hit the road again. Is that you, my savior? I recognize your footsteps, determined footsteps, befitting a determined person. Allow me to thank you again for saving me. Please accept this humble gift as a token of my appreciation. Irabeth has explained why you were looking for me. I warned the authorities of Canabras that the local wardstone had been desecrated. They waved off my warning and paid for their inaction. I have examined many wardstones, but only in the one guarding Canabras did I sense a flaw. A spot of corruption inside. A vulnerability the demons will surely use. They are able to spread the blight inside the wardstone, corrupt it, and make it their weapon. It frightens me to think what it will be capable of. The wardstone must be destroyed. Who are you, and why did they let you examine the wardstone? I'm the storyteller. Just an old elf, and a bit more. I am old even for an elf. I've seen many things and have been to many places. Not so long ago I witnessed the making of a young kingdom in the Stolen Lands, led by a remarkable and promising individual. My advice on the complicated matter of conquering those lands proved useful to that leader. This is not uncommon for me. Some seek my advice or services, and I don't refuse. This is how I acquired my reputation as an old vagrant who's never hurt anyone, stayed out of others' squabbles, but sometimes gave good advice. I have a few friends in New Roshan who vouch for my integrity. That is why my humble request to be allowed to see the wardstones was granted. I visited all of them, but only found cause for alarm in Canabras. Do you wield some special magic power? Some instinct? Yes, to a certain extent, but it is more of a gift. I can see the past, stories that have happened. I touch an object and shreds of its owner's memories are revealed to my mind. Their emotions, passions, and tragedies. I see visions like I am them, and their stories happen to me. This is my power. I've been roaming the world gathering such stories for many thousands of years. One day I'll gather them all. What blight is concealed in the wardstone? I'm afraid I don't have the answer to your question. To understand the nature of this blight, we need to understand how the wardstone was created, and that is hidden from me. I can only guess. Have you heard of the Red Morning Massacre? A dreadful morning remembered with fear even by those not yet born at the time. A demoness called Minago invaded the city with a crowd of her followers and started to do what demons do best, kill and desecrate. They say they covered the wardstone with pieces of dead bodies, splashed it with blood from top to bottom. Could such an abomination darken the radiance of the gift of Iomade herself? The locals think this impossible, but who knows? It was not the last attack. Many demon leaders brought their unholy forces here, even the terrifying Baylor Oramzadeh. Their attacks were rebuffed, but they still reached their target. I think this is when the seed of corruption was planted in the stone. It wouldn't have grown on its own, but Discari himself has now come to take advantage of its weakness, to open the abscess that has been festering for years, unnoticed by the people of Canabras. And when the demon lord struck the blow, the weakened stone gave in. Now it's in demon hands, and nothing is stopping them from spreading the blight throughout the entire stone, and from it, to other stones along the whole perimeter of the. Why did you travel to the wardstones? I tried to see their stories. The visions I had when I touched the wardstones were unclear. I saw hundreds, maybe thousands of different stories at the same time. They followed each other like flashes of lightning. It was impossible to separate them. I couldn't understand where one of them ended and the next began. In that case, you must make every possible effort to destroy the corruption. Unfortunately, I don't know where to get an instrument powerful enough to banish it from the ward. As far as I know, there's nothing like it in Canabras, but the demons might have something. I heard the dying roar of Terendelev, the Silver Dragon, the protector of the city. At the same time, I felt a wave of unfamiliar power sweep over me from head to toe. I would advise you to go to where Terendelev perished and search there for something. I'm sorry I can't be more specific, but intuition and a strange sense of rightness tell me to point you there. We're going to click on this one real quick just to, I guess, make it show that I've already talked about it. I have a few questions about our encounter in the Blackwood Library. Of course, I make no secret of why I came to the library. I was looking for something. What were you doing there? I was looking for a very old thing. Rumor has it, some ancient scroll or a book page about times of Earthfall is hidden. According to the legend, it describes the last days of a proud kingdom of Yonan. later abandoned by the elves fleeing Galarian. I have a vague hope that the events described in it will shed some light on my past. Did you find what you were looking for? Alas, no, but I found proof that the book I'm looking for is in Canabras, or at least a part of it is. Can I help you? I appreciate your offer. I have reason to believe that somewhere in Canabras there's a manuscript authored by an elf from Keonan who witnessed Earthfall. For personal reasons, I would like to examine it, but no matter how hard I try, I've failed to find it. Even in the Blackwing Library, I found only mention that the manuscript exists and is held somewhere in the city. I assume it's stored at the Grey Garrison. They wouldn't let me into the archive when I visited. All those crusaders were nervous about the strange blind, interested in their secrets. It's understandable. The crusade naturally made them a little paranoid. But now the Grey Garrison has fallen into enemies' hands. I'd be grateful if I could still see the manuscript. I want to know more about you. I'm not surprised. A strange, peculiar-looking elf with unusual powers who comes from afar and calls himself a collector of stories. Such things usually spark some interest. I'll answer your question. How do you collect stories? The same way a court philanderer collects his conquests. The way a healer has a personal cemetery of patients he failed to save. The way every person, including you, has a box of secrets. Most precious experience, deep down in their soul that no one is allowed to touch. The world is not made of things or matter even, it's made of stories. They move from the past to the future, piercing our world at the point of here and now. They give meaning to everything. They are the meaning, and everything else is only the setting required for stories to exist. There's nothing more real and alive than a story, and anything real and alive can die or be destroyed, distorted, forgotten, but as long as I carry these stories with me, they will not be lost. This is why I don't often share my stories. By sharing one with you, I give you the right to tell it to others. You distort and embellish it advertently or inadvertently. How can I be sure you will keep its original purity? Stories travel from one person to another. They change, become distorted, turn into tall tales. That's why I keep my stories to myself. Why did you come to the World Wound? Searching for the truth about my real past has brought me here. I saw myself in others' stories. In them I was called the Elf in the Tower. Now I'm looking for this tower, my tower, everywhere. I've been to many places. I've visited islands and deserts, but I haven't found it. There are very few uncharted territories on my map. World Wound is one of them. Where did you get your strange powers? I've always got along well with things. I used to be a blacksmith. That I know for sure. I've always felt the essence of things. Spirit. For as long as I can remember, I have always been able to feel the traces of memories and feelings left on things by their former owners. I don't know where this gift come from. Maybe having taken my sight, the gods granted me another sense. You look ancient. I thought elves didn't get old. As you can see, we do if we manage to live for many thousands of years. There may not be a single mortal in this world older than me. Anyway, it's not about time. It's about the stories I keep inside. There's so much suffering and sadness in this world. And my stories, too. I've lived every one of them. I've drunk this bitter experience and accepted it in my heart. It's hard, the weight of all this suffering on my shoulders, but I wouldn't trade my burden for any other. Who are you and where are you from? Before, I would have said I was a blacksmith from Keonan who lost his sight and then found his true calling in a new craft, that of a story collector. But I have lately begun to suspect that those words are no more than a lie. It's quite the irony. I never thought I'd have cause to complain about my memory. It holds the stories of the entire world, but I've noticed more and more alarming signs recently. I encounter ancient stories and see myself in them. I don't remember those events, but stories cannot lie, so it means that my memories lie. I intend to get to the bottom of it. I'm looking for proof that my visions are true, and for the reason why my past has been hidden from me. I have to take another drink. Alright, I'm going to give him the purple stone knife that we found. I found it in the square where Trindle perished. What do you make of it? Even from here I can feel strange energies emanating from this object. If you don't mind, I'll examine it using my method. I will try to see past the past of its owner, their emotions and shreds of their memories. Maybe it'll help us better understand what we're dealing with. Hunger. My many legs bring me into the lair, to my mother's feasting hall. Her swollen body overfilled with food is so huge that I have to look at it with all my eyes at once. On top is her scrawny little head with a long beak. that is always yearning for. Mother greets me with a placid screech. Stupid, greedy wretch, whose only achievement is my birth. A creeping, wingless creature. It's your fault I have no wings. A symbol of greatness, a birthright I should have received from my mighty father. Mother points me to a crowd of whimpering subjects, suggesting I fortify myself with their pathetic flesh. Not today. I summon my spawn and they fly to me, enveloping me in a teeming cloud. Like dark, buzzing wings, they unfold behind my back and lift me up. Mother has always been stronger, but she did not expect this. I dive on her and rip her limp, bloated body with my claws. Iker splatters the bone spurs on my heels and sink. Iker splatters, the bone spurs on my heels sink into her flesh. I clench her pitiful, tiny head and tear it off along with shreds of meat. Victory! I am the strongest. I am the son of my winged father. Falling. Stories like this are the most difficult ones to. Demons truly know no love, killing one's own mother. Storyteller opens his mouth to answer, but a sudden spasm crosses his face. Even looking at the wordstone is difficult. Despite the corruption nesting in it, it still has an aura of strength. Your fingers clench the stone hilt so tight it hurts. A little spot on the polished surface of the wordstone draws your attention. It looks like a butterfly. Corruption in the guise of something utterly harmless. But it will grow. You swing and stab the butterfly with a knife as hard as you can. Your fingers cramp painfully. A howl invades your ears. Light. White light everywhere. What? What was that? That was not the past. That was something that is yet to happen. Rather, might happen. One of the roads to the future. One of the possible futures. This item will help you cleanse the wordstone. Or destroy it. Feel a longing to take the chisel and plunge it into our chest. Not gonna do that, though. Never before has anything like this happened to me. How? I'm not an oracle or a prophet. Or is this another riddle from the past that has put up with me? I must find out. Seeing stories that have happened is one thing, but seeing stories that are yet to happen, I don't know why this is happening. But there is one thing I'm sure of. This is not a coincidence. This is a sign of changes. Great changes. Can you see the future? I don't know. Obviously I can, but nothing like this has ever happened to me. The future never opened its secrets to me before I met you. Gods, who are you and why have our paths crossed? I feel this is not a coincidence. Something momentous is happening. Destiny is pushing us toward. What? Questions without answers. I swear this morning I couldn't have imagined what awaited me. I shared your vision this night. Tempted me. Did you see what I saw? This has never happened before. Could it be the magic of the object that you brought me? I sense dark energies in it that can cloud and charm the mind. Be careful with this item. It may have tried to influence you, but you managed to overcome its power and subdue it. Or perhaps something else happened to us. Something we don't yet understand. Maybe it's the knife that gives you the power of divination? This knife is a powerful artifact, but I feel its power is of a different nature. No, I felt the same as I do when I tell the past. This is my gift, but manifested in abnormal. This is what you saw destined to happen? No, the future's not set. It used to be, a long time ago, when the god Arid guarded Galarian. But not now. Prophecies do not come true, or they do, but not in the way they were supposed to. I only saw one version of the future, one of the paths leading. But the choice has not been made, and our destinies are not set in stone. Who were you in your vision? I don't know. Someone strong and desperate enough to resort to extreme measures. I felt that what I was doing had to be done. Your powers are amazing. A few minutes ago, I would have agreed with you. But the thing that just happened, it disturbs me. My gift has never manifested like this. Something has changed, and these changes frighten me. Well, take a look at these other things that I have. Let me touch them and I'll tell you what I can see. Powerful forces lie dormant in this sword. It used to belong to an incredibly bright and daring soul. Proud Tarendulov, protector of Canabris, you devoted your life to serving the people. Your death is a great loss, but maybe I will be able to find out something about you that is your admirer. What a peculiar weapon. I sense intelligence in it, but it seems dented. Ah, Grandpa Elf, watch where you're poking your fingers. It tickles. Shall we? We're gonna go through this one real quick again. Not gonna read it, but the exact one that just read. Will present Radiance. What do you see that's past? Dresden is doomed. Demons attacked right when we lost the protection of the Sword of Valor. My city, my bastion of hope. We built you as a symbol that the lands mutilated by the Abyss could still be restored to mortals. Now you are perishing. There's nothing I can do. We retreat. No, we flee. A frightened crowd rushes out into the night through the southern gate. They are chased by the angry howls of killing the last defenders of the citadel. My heart goes out to them, but I'm standing still in the... I'm covering the retreat. Demons do not attack. They seethe around you, fall from the sky, strike from all sides at once. They can't be stopped, but they can be distracted. I run to the upper floor of the gate tower. Radiance glows with a golden light in my hand. I permit myself to close my eyes for just one heartbeat. I imagine that the soft, glimmering light of the sword I see through my closed eyelids is the light of the summer sun. I smile. I open my eyes and call out, "Hey, Daskari's spawn. Who wants the best trophy of the night? You know my name, Yaniel. You know how many of you I've killed with this very hand? You want to curry favor with Darzand, Nago, or the echo of your lord? Bring them my head if you can." Roaring and screaming, they rush toward me in a wave of deformed bodies and unformed wings. The wave crashes against me, spattering my army with bloody froth. Broken wings and chopped up bodies plummet to the foot of the tower. In the heat of battle, I see Jorn's pale face down there. He looks up at me in desperation, but he can't help. He's carrying 2 wounded on his shoulders. My city will fall, but my friends will survive. This is what I'm fighting for. I'm covering the retreat. The flow of fleeing people gradually dwindles. My armor is broken in many places, and I cannot heal my wounds anymore. The last demon I stabbed with radiance suddenly recoils, tearing the handle out of my slicked hand. He flies up, but falls somewhere far beyond the walls, by the road being taken by those fleeing. No more golden glow in my hands. The night closes in on me, filled with shrieking, mocking laughter. Dresden, I am dying with you. Light of the sword, righteous Iomade, accept my soul. I know whose memory this is. I've heard about her so many times. Yaniel was a true crusader. Touching her memories is so cleansing. You see the future of this sword? Just one of numerous possibilities. I slide out of the sheath swiftly. I proudly watch the army of warriors led by my lord. They sing, slashing the air, putting courage in their hearts. I am Radiance. Tremble, city of Dresden. My lady Yaniel has perished, but I am not done yet. Charge. Nice to know that Sword's glory days are not over. It has many battles ahead. Take care of it. It's a glorious sword. Tell me about Trendlove. I'm flying. I can finally spread my wings. I am gliding over a broad river. The sunset has turned its surface smooth like a mirror, and I see my reflection. It is as if another silver dragon is rising to meet me from the depths. But what is it? The scales on my chest are black. The darkness is spreading over my body. I wake up. A clear sky sways above me, blazing with heat. I am in human form. The red dust of the wound clings to my cracked lips. Someone is carrying me on a stretcher made of shields and spears. I am so weak I can barely lift my hand to my face. The sight of my own hand terrifies me. It is black and the skin glistens like scales melted by fire. I probably ought to cry, but I only feel hatred and nausea. All these people around me, out of sympathy for them did I choose to leave the mountains. I gave up my flights over the rivers. I went to the demon's lair. They don't have a scratch on them, but I am infected with illness. It's not fair. My life is more precious than their pathetic existence. Oh, I hate them at this moment. And then suddenly I feel shame. No, these are not my thoughts. The Crusaders carrying me are my good friends, and I'm glad they did not suffer. But I hate them, and myself so much. Pain and hatred pierced me all at once. It's all because of them. All because of them. Someone walking beside me touches me, talks to me. But the only thing I hear is your mentor. He will come. He will help. And I lose consciousness. Such hatred from Trendlove? Wasn't she on our side? Trendlove has come a long way. Her unit was ambushed by demons. She was infected with foulness. The Trendlove you met in Canavris has gone through many trials and regained her former purity. What happened next? Sometimes the past can be as vague as the future. We all know how Trendlove's story ended, but the beginning is hidden from us. Maybe if you find something else that used to belong to her, you'll know more about her struggle. However, no matter what we learn, remember, her soul of a true dragon, overcame every obstacle, endured every torment. She was able to purify herself. For dragons are truly powerful, not only in body, but in spirit too. And we'll show him Finian. Hello, Grandpa Elf. Hello, Finian. I'm coming to again. How long have I been here? They kept me in a cage for 3 days. I know this because 3 times the light under the door disappeared for a long time. Then they chained me to the table in the bladesmith. Everyone calls him the bladesmith. He placed a device with a jar over me. It feels like I'm being fried. At first I tried to break free, but I got tired. Then I screamed. But now I've lost my voice, though the pain is burning right through me. I think I just lost consciousness again. But when I woke up, the pain was gone, and I wasn't tied to the table anymore. I was standing near it. Someone else was lying on the table. Burned corpse covered with a black crust. Master took out a handsaw and was sawing off his head. A very focused way. I should have run back then, but I couldn't for some reason. This burned corpse had a symbol on his belt, just like I do. An eye and a star. My favorite belt, a good one. Where would a stranger get one? It must have been someone from my clan. Some distant family member. Those crusaders, I was glad when I saw them. I thought they'd come to help, but how? How was it that I killed them all? Someone told me to, and I obeyed. I don't understand. I understand nothing now. I need to catch my breath. I need all this to stop, even for just a minute. I just have to understand what's happening to me. I just need to rest. That is Finian's past, but what awaits him in the future? The dead have no future, but I see an endless ocean, good day, and a boat flying over the waves. I am so excited. But I don't know whose vision this is. Is this a soul existing here now, or a soul reborn? Thank you for the story. Please take care of this young Noah. Finally in the right hands. Do not worsen his suffering by involving him in dishonorable. Alright, we have important things to... Are we using Finian? I can't remember. Okay. We should level up, Neo. We're just going to keep her going in Scroll Savant. We're not really going to be using the Dexterity. I am going to give her 1 point Strength, just so she can carry a little bit more, and then we'll put the other 4 into Intelligence. I'll give her the skills that she is best at. And we're going to take Blur. I really like Blur. And Burning Arc because we don't have... spell casts here. I'll put Mage Armor here and we'll put more snowballs in. Kind of already at the point that Ray isn't going to, because no one's going to be 2 dice or less. I'm going to put Vanish in. This down here, we're going to put some arcs. Put Blur. Instead of mirroring. Blur is going to be for, whoever is main tanking, make it harder, make them more survivable. Let's see, how are we doing resting here? I think we could go talk to Irabeth one more time here about the Grey Garrison. And I guess next time we come back, we'll probably talk to Hilora about Finian. I don't think we've done that. What's our strategy for the attack on the Grey Garrison? I shall lead the rest of my forces in a frontal assault. This will distract the enemy enough to let you use the secret passage to the Ward Stone. Destroy it before the demons turn Iomede's gift into a weapon of the abyss. Most of the allies you found will join my forces. You can expect a certain amount of support from them. My opinion on Prelate Ulrun aside, it's undeniable that his leaders are a formidable force. You'll benefit from their pinpoint strikes against troublesome enemies. The Order of the Flaming Lance counts both valiant knights and masters of the occult. They are about to test an experimental ritual they've developed. Should it all go according to plan, your party will have serious advantage during the battle at the Grey Garrison. In these dark days, the most unlikely allies join forces to fight the common foe. All tieflings are treated with prejudice and cannabis, let alone the smugglers and thieves. And yet, they are on our side, and I'll make sure their contribution is not forgotten after the victory. They'll be of little use in open combat, but they'll help you spot secret doors and warn you. Sounds good. Right. It's hitting that 2-hour mark here, so I think I'm going to call it here. The next episode we'll be heading straight for the end of the Tiefling quest chain. In order to complete that, we'll have to talk to Woljif, so we'll go up to Tiefling Hideout, come back down here, talk to Woljif, and maybe run through at least one other conversation while my voice is in good shape. And that'll happen tomorrow at 7:30. If you've made it this far in the video, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend it with me. If you liked what you saw, please go ahead and click on the like button. If you'd like to see more similar to this, please subscribe to my channel. And otherwise, have a great day and a great holiday. Thanks.